Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, subscribe and join the family. Today I am bringing you a depression update and telling you why I am back in therapy and why I chose a Black therapist. Okay, so I thought that we would talk about a bit about depression and we'd talk about therapy and why. Why has my depression resurfaced and why I chose a Black therapist this go round. So let's get into it because I want to make sure this is short, sweet, to the point, and educational. I hope it helps someone. I posted a video on my channel some time ago talking about anxiety and depression and how it's affected me. And now here we are. That video has to be, I don't know how old it is. I'm going to apologize in advance for the slight. We are suffering from severe fires out here in California, and the haze is doing something weird with the sun. And we have 20-foot ceilings, and the light coming in is changing constantly. Anyway, I posted a video maybe about a year ago or so, and I just talked about anxiety and depression and how it's impacted my life, when it began, all that fun stuff. So just a brief recap. I started with depression in high school. So we're talking about the 90s. And back then I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was sad. I was having all of these issues. It wouldn't be until years later that I actually went to the doctor and was officially diagnosed as being depressed. So I was put on antidepressants and took antidepressants for many years up until I actually weaned myself off and learned to cope. We're going to call it cope for now. Okay. So what were my symptoms? So I used to have sadness all the time. And I mean, you know, sadness, people experience sadness, but mine was a bit more severe to the point where I would have spontaneous bouts of crying. I would just be sad for no reason. Like I could be having a good day and then all of a sudden it was like, flip the switch. Sad, just for no reason. Like I said, the crying, lack of motivation, y'all. I don't know, anybody out there who's experienced depression knows exactly what I'm talking about, where you get up in the morning and you feel like doing nothing. Even the simplest task, like showering, feels like it takes every bit of energy you have, and you have to muster that up just to get that done. So I knew some months back it was happening again. And I've written several blogs about mental health, and I've talked about how therapy saved my life. And while I have had some pretty successful therapy sessions, I always felt like there was a void, like something was missing. Like I would leave feeling a little better, but not completely better, okay? And it would always be like these peaks and valleys, right? I'd be like, yep, on the up and up, and I would hit hard. And it was like, come on, what is wrong? Eventually, they tried to prescribe me Klonopin for anxiety, and I think it's gabapentin or something of that nature. And I'll talk about that more, or actually I'll just throw something up here about the two medications. I never took them because I was too paranoid. For whatever reason, I have this thing with medication where I don't like taking medication, so I didn't take it. So before we get throat deep into this, let's talk about what depression actually is. It is a mental disorder characterized by persistently depressed moods and lack of interest in activities, and it can be debilitating. It can impair your everyday life. So it is an actual mental disorder. When people think depression, they don't think mental disorder. You know, of course, it is your psyche, your mental, but it is an actual mental disorder. With that being said, after I realized what was going on, I did decide to go to therapy. And I went to therapy for many, many years and saw several different therapists. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you find yourself in a therapy session with somebody that you don't mesh well with, change therapists. It will not benefit you to stay in therapy with someone that is not helping you, because it completely defeats the purpose. So let's talk about my years of therapy. I went to therapy for several years. And like I said, I met with several different therapists, and I always felt like something was missing. And when I got older and social media became more prevalent, I noticed so many Black women talking about having a Black therapist. Now, I'm all for supporting anybody that looks like me. And I thought, let's give it a try. Why not? So I began doing my research after the resurfacing of my depression. Let's fix this here. I don't know what's going on. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I wrote a blog about this recently. I didn't know who and who was not Black, but I just started looking at the names. I know that it's such a stereotype, but y'all, each and every one that I picked out that I thought was Black ended up being Black after a Google search. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I did come across several therapists, none of which had availability. And y'all, I was getting so discouraged because it had gotten bad. I had gotten to the point where I literally one day looked in the mirror and said, I am not okay. The crying was back. The lack of motivation was back. The energy to get in the shower was back. The anger was back. The resentment was back. All of the things that you can think of that comes with anxiety and depression, I had them all. But this time it felt like it was intensified. It was like times 10. Anyway, finally, after so many no's and no one having availability, I came across, there's no T in cross. I came across a doctor and I said, let me just Google. Google, gave sis a call. She didn't answer. I was like, dang. Now, a few minutes later, she texted me back. So she texted me back and she was like, if you're interested and blah, 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 I have an appointment on this day. I said, She said, call this number. Y'all, I called before the message even came through. After I called the point of contact to make the appointment, set up everything, make sure the insurance was cool, we ended up having our first session over a month ago. And we have been meeting weekly. Let me tell y'all, say what you want, but to my Black people out there, get you a Black therapist. And this is not a dig at other doctors of different races, but here is one thing that I know for sure. Therapists of other races cannot identify with the issues that you have being a Black person. I don't care how much education they have. I don't care how many books they reference. Nothing can teach them about your personal experience as a Black person. When I had my first session with my new therapist, I was blown away at how she was able to get me. Get what it meant to code switch as a Black woman in corporate America. Get what it meant to grow up as a Black girl in a Black traditional Baptist church. Get what it meant to be Black in the LGBT community. She got that on more levels than I can imagine. Not only did I have so many aha moments in just my first therapy session, so much so, let me tell y'all what I did. I got me a notebook. I dedicated a notebook to therapy only. Every session, I'm writing notes. I'm taking notes. I literally have pages and pages of notes of things that she's, just gems that she's given me. And as a matter of fact, let's talk about it. I almost didn't make this video today. A lot of my anxiety and depression comes from work, family stuff, whatever. There's a lot of different factors. But I find that on Sundays, I suffer because what's the next day? Work. And today I started getting in my head. It was about 1 o'clock. I was like, now this is the mind, right? I was like, dang, the day almost gone. I'm just about to go lay down. I ain't doing nothing today. I immediately went back to one of our sessions where she talks about the mind, quieting the mind, being able to, in the moment of those negative thoughts, being able to recognize let's do something different. So I pulled out my little notebook. I started going through my notes. And let me tell you how funny, I don't care what nobody say. This is how God works. I'm scrolling through social media because I'm on a bed. I didn't give up for the day. And I'm like, oh. And there was something from the law of attraction. I followed them on Instagram and Facebook, and they were talking about something about taking advantage of the day. Like it's not over, whatever. I'm going to post it right here so y'all can see. Y'all, in that very moment, I hopped up, got my funky ass in the shower, pulled out some clothes, did my eyebrows, threw on a little lip color, turned on some music that spoke to my soul, got dressed, and here I am right now making this video for y'all. Because healing from depression is work. I don't care. And let me tell you, there are going to be some good days and bad days for those out there suffering. You understand? For me, there's good days and bad days. Some days I can fight it like I did today. And some days it wins. Not like Depression 10 and Jasmine 0. It's more like a 7-3. So I'm doing a lot better. So what is the point of this video? To encourage someone out there that may be suffering, like myself. Depression is more common than you may think. And if you notice some of the signs and symptoms, go get seen. Sometimes you need more than prayer and advice from a friend. Sometimes you need the help of a professional. Sometimes you need medication. I am a huge advocate for therapy, and I will continue to be. This has definitely been a journey, one that has been difficult. One that has been not only difficult, but it has also been rewarding. It has allowed me the opportunity to do some healing in spaces that in my mind I thought was done and over with. But based on my behaviors and how it still affected me today, I knew that it wasn't. I took it upon myself to get help. And if you recognize some of the signs in your children, because that'll be a whole nother video for a whole nother day, take the necessary steps to get them help too. I am going to include several links and resources in the description of this video for anyone suffering. We're going to throw in the suicide hotline, therapy for Black girls, very huge right now. I'll also throw in a couple of helpful links to articles and whatnot, because I will say, I just want to encourage you guys, help is out there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Even though some days it feels like it's completely dark, you're closed in, you're by yourself, and it's never going to end. You will get through it. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit that post notification bell so you know every time I upload. And I will see you guys in the next video. Next video is going to be something fun, something on the up and up, because I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good. In the meantime, have a great week, y'all. Bye.